Hi, this is Dave Cook with 100 Pedals. Now that I'm back home from my Cycling for Recovery mission, something that I spent the last 10, 11 months planning and working towards, I find myself in a situation where I'm focusing on, okay, so what's next for the rest of this year and for all of next year for 100 Pedals in my life. And as I'm working through the process of discovering what's next, I'm finding myself a little frustrated in the sense that what I'm hearing from God is what I would call small steps. And I've shared this before, is that those small steps, are sometimes necessary to get you started, but I'm struggling because I've been so clear for the last 10 months on where I'm going that not having clear direction going forward is a little bit frustrating. And in my pushback with God in my quiet time this morning, He reminded me of one of my experiences on my bike trip that I'd like to share with you because it did open my eyes to a few things. When I was riding into Joliet, Illinois, I started out on a road that was pretty much a country road. It was a 4-lane highway, but it was not very heavily trafficked yet. And then as I got closer to Joliet, I went from in about 5 miles time, I went from a relatively busy, open highway to this jam-packed, truck-filled 2-lane road, no stoplight or no sidewalks, and I found myself in kind of a precarious position where I had to ease my bike into this situation with nothing but a lot of trucks and a handful of cars. Unfortunately, there was a traffic light, and most of the traffic turned right or left to get on the highway, I-94 right there, as I pulled into Joliet. And when the light turned green, I went straight and went under a railroad trestle and found myself in the middle of downtown Joliet, relieved to be away from the traffic, but also aware that in my haste, I think I missed my turn. And I stood there for a minute on the corner of this street in downtown Joliet going, where do I go next? What do I do? And in my heart, I knew right then and there that I probably had missed my turn and I needed to go back. And so that's what I did. I trusted the instinct. I looked at my map, and it looked to me like the road I needed was somewhere between that traffic light where all the trucks were and the railroad trestle. So I went back around the block, which was more like about a 1.5 mile reroute. And I pulled up to the road that the map said, this is your turn. And I looked at it, and it was kind of narrow and beat up. And in fact, it even looked like there was a dead end shortly down the road. And I'm thinking, this can't be the path that I'm supposed to be on. But I, at the same time, knew that it was the path I needed to be on. There was this thing that just said, trust me, this is your road. And so I took it, and as the story goes, it was the road I needed to be on. And I think that that's the lesson. Is that, a lot of times we're going through life, we're sailing along, things are good. Then we find ourselves in a difficult spot. And then in our haste to get through it, we kind of fly through, maybe even go through a few stop signs, but next thing we know, we realize, hey, I'm not where I want to be. And it's at that point that we need to step back, take a deep breath, and listen to the direction that God provides us. And God rerouted me and said, this is the road. And I'm looking at it and go, really? This is the road? Yes, this is the road. Okay, God, I'll take it, but it sure doesn't look like the right one. Trust me, He says. I think that's the lesson for us in our life, is that, sometimes we find ourselves on a path that feels good, feels right. And then we kind of get in that mode of we're doing great and the wind's at our back and we're going downhill and we feel really good. And also we realize, like, whoa, I think I'm off kilter here. I'm not where I need to be. And when God redirects us and calls us back, we say, you sure? God's going, yes, I'm sure. Trust me. So the next time you find yourself in that spot where, in your haste to get through the difficult time or celebrate maybe the good times, take a moment to breathe. Listen to God. Trust His direction for your life. Even if He gives you little steps, little to-dos like He's given me right now, He's working me down a path that He wants me to be on. He's working you down a path He wants you to be on. Trust that path. Stay in constant contact with God. Listen to Him. Trust Him. Listen to Him. Trust Him more. And He will guide you to where He wants you to be, to where you're supposed to be. And the rest will take care of itself, step by step. Have a great day.